That's got to be one of the most satisfying tasks that one can do, watching something go from really grimy and gross to clean. When you get to the single digits, when you get really, really cold, there's no such thing as too much bedding.
No.
No? You don't want it?
No.
No. So I have a little over 2 weeks left at my job before the resignation date is final. And it seems like I'm busier than ever. I am not getting senioritis, let's put it that way. I'm trying to make the transition as smooth as possible. As I start to think about shifting into getting out of a full-time job, my heart is going back to the homestead in a lot of ways. I'm thinking about preparing for the season ahead. And there's a lot to do, even in the cold of winter. This is probably the coldest part of the year, mid-January. So I have a somewhat simple task today, one that's been a long time coming. One thing I should say, it looks beautiful out this morning. I don't need this coat, I just took off my hat. There's blue sky, but apparently, according to the weather radar, we got a line of wicked rainstorms, thunderstorms heading our way here soon. Part of me is like, okay, should I start to do this chore or should I wait out to see if this storm is going to come our way? I mean, looking in that direction, which is west, it looks like something is heading our way. But if nothing else, maybe I can get started today and then finish tomorrow. So what's been a long time coming. So as you guys know, we're going to be doing a breeding program with chickens and turkeys. And one of the things I wanted to do was bust out my old A-frame that I used as my meat chicken tractor. You'll remember this thing. I built this 2 years ago and used it for my meat chickens, and it worked out great. It's heavy, which I wanted it to be heavy. That's by design. I stored it here under this lean-to in the chicken run last year and have kept it in here ever since. And that may have been a mistake because, as you can see, the chickens have used this as a roosting bar at night. And it's just been covered with chicken poop. And I try and clean it off fairly regularly. But even with that, this is gross. It's not good. It could probably jeopardize the integrity of this sheet metal that I use as their roof. So I need to clean this thing off because I want to start using it again as a kind of a shelter for chicks. There's a stock tank in here, which this is another place that chickens hang out. They'll sit up there and they'll poop on here. And they like using this as a little coop to hang out in. But it needs a clean really bad. And I may want to actually start, if we do meat chickens again, I may want to start using this as my meat chicken tractor again. Honestly, if it does rain today, maybe I can bring this out and that will give it a little bath. What do you guys think? I don't know, I'll think about it, but this thing is due for a detailed job for sure. Something else that really needs to get done and that I may actually take on before it starts raining is clearing out some of these branches that hang down from the cedar that hang over the chicken run. They're starting to droop. They're starting to get close to the electric fence, which I don't want. So I think I may borrow my dad's pole saw and get to work on some of these branches, just knock them down. So this was a really good start. all of that is cleared out. And yet there's still a canopy above the bird run, above the chicken run, so they'll still get shade. Not as much shade, sure, but they will still get shade. The next step to consider, probably cutting down this side tree. I don't know what it is that grew up next to the cedar, but I like the cedar. I want to hold on to the cedar. But getting up there and cutting off all the branches that are resting on the barn roof, I think that's our next step. That'll be an interesting project because we'll need to get up on top of the lean-to or get a ladder with the pole saw. And you know, honestly, I'm kind of in the chainsaw groove today. I can't say enough good things about those little electric DeWalt chainsaws, both the pole saw and the just kind of mini chainsaw. We have a gas chainsaw, the Husky, which is great for legit chainsaw jobs, but those little guys, those little electric jobs are really, really nice to have around for smaller things like this. I could keep going with the chainsaw groove. You know, I'm keeping my eye on the sky, and that cloud is getting more and more ominous on the horizon, so I think I'd better shift gears. The question is, do I light up that bonfire or do I wait for that? All right, so it's the next day and it's cold. It's in the 20s right now, but I still want to get this taken care of if I can. It's cold and windy and it's supposed to snow a little later. So this is the one opportunity I'll have. I still have a full week of work next week. I need to get this done because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but there's a potential that we'll have new chickens next weekend. So I need to get this ready. So I'm going to do the best I can to hustle up and clean out this A-frame. If at all possible, take out the stock tank and probably put a heat lamp in there for supplemental heat if we do get new chickens next week. I want them to be warm as they get used to their new environment. Certain activities you just can't do gloves on.
Right.
Cool.
I got one here.
Sweet. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
You got yours?
Yep.
Got it.
Nice.
This one's just about out.
All right, let me. There we go. Now comes the fun part.
You want to lift it first to see if...
No. Well, look at this.
Oh, about that.
She's flying after all. So the old A-frame is still flying, which I'm happy about. I was prepared for it to be super caked into the dirt, and it wasn't. I was able to just pick it up and move it just like the old days when we had meat chickens in there. So that's encouraging that we're able to do that. We moved it out here so it'll be in the sun. Even though it's cold, it is sunny. So I wipe this down, I clean this, and give it a chance to dry a little bit better in the sun. Once I'm done cleaning it and washing it down, I'll push it right back into position and deck out the inside, and it'll be a lot more sanitary and clean. I know chickens aren't the most sanitary animals, but you need to clean this up. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's got to be one of the most satisfying tasks that one can do. Watching something go from really grimy and gross to clean. I'm not going to say this is spotless. Obviously it isn't. There's still more work that needs to be done, but it doesn't need to be spotless. This isn't the Ritz-Carlton. This is a chicken house. This is a chicken coop. It does need to be clean. It does need to be sanitary, and it was getting to the point where it was not clean or sanitary. So to watch the progression from the dirt and the grime and to see it get cleaner and cleaner as it goes around, or as I go through each of the grooves in this sheet metal, is a very satisfying feeling. I'm gonna get the other side now. All right, I'm gonna get a couple of the remaining spots here for this first round because I'm not done, but it looks a lot better for this first round, and then let it dry in the sun because, like I said, it's chilly today, but the sun is out and the sun can dry this up. So let me get a little bit more cleaned up off camera, then I'm gonna let it sit in the sun for a little bit and bake off some of the nastiness.
No, you don't want it?
No.
No, I thought they were pretty good.
What?
It's not pop. It's tea. Close to pop. You sure you don't want this pancake? No, you do not.
All right, so it's been a few hours in the sun, and there's still some detail work to finish. Obviously, not all the spots have been cleaned off. They didn't wipe off in my first application, my first cleaning application. And there's some other stuff I need to do. I need to work on the inside a little bit. Some of the dust that's accrued, some of the poop that's still hanging on to the hardware cloth here. There's some cobwebs and things that need to be taken care of up there. By and large, this is a lot cleaner. Clean enough to maybe I'll sleep in here this evening. It's sanitary. I feel a lot more comfortable about keeping the chickens in here. Chickens are dirty animals and you need to clean up after them regularly. There's a chicken tip for you people. Chickens are filthy animals. They are not clean, and if you just leave them be to their own devices, they will dust places up. They'll get poop everywhere. They require a lot more maintenance than I think people might realize, especially when they're in a stationary spot like they are for us. They just stay in this quarter-acre run or so, whatever it is. And so they need regular maintenance. And so this was a long time coming. It's good to get stuff out and start cleaning it again. I think this whole day of cleaning stuff up has almost been symbolic in a way. All this time, this year and a half that I've been busy at my full-time job, I haven't been neglecting stuff. I've been keeping it in maintenance mode, but just simple tasks like doing a deep clean on the A-frame on the chicken tractor are something that I just haven't been able to keep up with as much as I could have. So this feels good to do. If somebody wanted to pay me a lot of money to clean up chicken poop for a living, I may consider that offer. I'll take care of some of the detail work probably over the next few days, but I think before the sun sets, I want to get this thing underneath the lean-to, facing a different way, which I have a theory about chickens roosting on it at night, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but I do want to get it in underneath the lean-to, so let's do that. All right, this is much, much better. Fresh bedding down. The discerning viewer might note that this is not straw, but hay. I haven't been able to get my hands on a bale of straw in 2 weeks because people are loading up on it for the upcoming cold snap that we've got. I think it's supposed to be in the single digits next week. And one thing I've learned over the years, I'm just gonna lay down. Oh, this is great. One thing I've learned over the years is that when you get to the single digits, when you get really, really cold, there's no such thing as too much bedding, no such thing as too much straw or hay, which we'll do in a pinch. It'll insulate them, it'll keep them warm. There's no such thing as too much. Load it up as much as you can, as I've done here inside the A-frame. So it's cleaned up and it's got so much straw, and the chickens are gonna love getting cozy in here, probably in the evening, in the early morning. It's usually coldest here around 6:30 or 7 in the morning. Strangely enough, when the sun is rising. I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for that, but that always seems to be when it's the coldest here for us, is as the sun rises. And so I imagine the chickens are going to be nice and toasty in here. And when we get new chickens, this is a lot cleaner. I may bring in a heat lamp in here. I haven't decided. I've also got that heat panel, which is a little bit safer. I may do that as well. But it was a long time coming, like I said. It had been, boy, 2 or 3 months since I had last cleaned the A-frame. And it was filthy, like I said. So it's good to have it cleaned up. Not perfect. I'm still going to do some more work on it, but this is a good start. And honestly, I may make more of these. I may fine-tune my design here and make a 2.0 version of the Yeoman A-frame meat chicken tractor. This is heavy. It keeps out predators. It did that a very good job. We didn't lose any meat chickens when we had this in service of protecting our meat chickens. We lost none because it's so sturdy, it's so heavy. But I'd like to look at something maybe a little bit less cumbersome to move around, a little bit less heavy, while maintaining the elements that keep it secure. Boy, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that I need to work on. Some little pieces that I need to clear, but it looks good. So as I was saying earlier, typically the chickens don't like camping out on this part. So the chickens have started slowly, as it's gotten colder, slowly moving away from roosting on here at night. My hope is that trend continues and they stop roosting up here at night. They probably will be roosting in here now that I made it nice and cozy for them. It won't fit all of the chickens, but it'll fit most of them. But they've been slowly kind of moving away from roosting up here. So my hope is that by flipping this around, they typically like to be close to the wall as possible, and they don't like being over the hardware cloth. So since I flipped this around, my hope is that they won't even bother because the hardware cloth is closest to the wall. That's a far-fetched theory, may or may not work out, but it's worth a shot. In the meantime, if they do continue roosting here at night, I'll have time to be more vigilant about cleaning up the poop that they leave. Somebody had mentioned once to me about screwing in long screws as kind of like a spike strip up at the top, and that'll keep the birds from roosting up there. But I'm wary of that because this top kind of cap panel that I put up here, sheet metal cap panel, does keep moisture out. And if I put those screws in, then it will no longer keep moisture out. When it rains, when I have this and I'm moving it around the pasture, rain will soak in through those screw spots and damage the wooden side, which I don't want to do. So I'll have to think about it if they do start roosting up here again. But in the meantime, I'll have more time to actually be vigilant about maintaining a routine for cleaning this thing. Ideally, once a month is the best cadence for cleaning this. Very productive day. I was able to get more accomplished out here than I thought I was. The A-frame is no longer filthy. It's not spick and span necessarily, but it doesn't need to be. It's not filthy. It's sanitary now. And it's warm. I may kick back and get a little rest in here myself. I think I mentioned it earlier in the video, I have roughly 2.5 weeks left in my current job. So time is still tight until then. Once I've resigned, once the final day has come, we'll see what my new schedule looks like. But until then, it's still pretty busy, so it's good to be able to get this kind of stuff done while I can. I've talked to some folks about potentially taking on a breeding pair of turkeys in the next few months, which is really exciting. Also, as you guys know, I'm very keen on getting into an incubation program for chickens as well. So one of the primary things I want to do while I still can, while not much else is going on and it's cold, is infrastructure stuff. Fix this stuff up. Maybe look into turkey-specific infrastructure. Turkeys like to roost a little bit differently than chickens do. Our turkeys, when they got really big, they just lay on the ground, which I don't don't think is ideal. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on that. That might be something I get into as well. But in the meantime, we're here. It's great. It's really nice. I'll keep you guys updated. And until I see you again next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.